Oh, y'all want to go there?
We do. This is Gil's arena.
Okay. So I've never gotten suspended for guns in the locker room. So I guess they're using 50 games as the benchmark because that was what I got. But my meeting with David Stern was I read every piece of paper that had to do with weapons in the NBA. And, I don't want to name other players, but, one player that was on the bus had 2-game suspension. It was a loaded gun on the bus, which is NBA property, 2-game suspension. The same player had a loaded gun on the airplane. That's NBA property too, which they didn't want to say that was NBA property. And I was like, that's only 3 games. So a second offense just added 1 more game. So 2 loaded guns on NBA property. So unloaded gun in a locker room that was there is only 2 games, first offense, 1 game at most. So I'm not taking no 50-game suspension. So, so we were going back and forth about, what the rules said and what you're trying to do, which didn't make sense because there's also, not on league premises, guns were, shot into the air. Most was 7 games. So if you ask any voter, which would you take? Unloaded in the locker room, loaded on a plane, loaded on the bus, shot at you or shot in the air, which one seems more safer? And I'm pretty sure unloaded, is probably the safest one. So therefore, I'm not going to take your, 50-game suspension. So fuck off, right? That was my stance. So therefore, the real story is I got bullied into 50 games. So again, on record, I've never been suspended for guns in a locker room because they couldn't prove that those were my actual guns in the locker room. My crime was I said those were mine. There was no fingerprints. No one ever seen me do anything. So I claimed them. What I got suspended for was detrimental to the team because when the media was attacking me, like Ja, I was reacting emotionally, right? You were attacking my character, not knowing what the fuck was going on, and I was acting out. That's where this came from. So I got suspended for mental issues, that I wasn't mentally fit, which means I was suspended indefinitely until we evaluate the situation. But all it was to get me out of the media because the story was too big for 1 or 2 games. And I also said, fuck that, fuck you. I'm not, that's not how this works. So they decided to say, well, you're going to take it. You're not going to go to the Players Association and fight this.
When you say they, who is they?
Oh, it was David Stern and the new guy now, Adam Silver.
Okay.
So Adam Silver, which he was standing up at the time. He wasn't, he wasn't in a position to sit down with the rest of us. Yeah, he was standing up. Basically, no, it's not basically, it's what happened. He said, you're going to take 50 games or I'm going to come after your contract. So at that time, I just lost my Adidas deal. And then he's saying, I'm going to take your contract if you try to fight this. I mean, that's a decision I had to make. And it was like, well, sit there and make your decision. So I'm sitting here looking with Javaris, and we're sitting there like, I mean, you don't really have a contract to worry about. So, I'm like, all right. I mean, who am I? Am I going to fight the commissioner of the NBA at this point? So I took the 50 games and shut the fuck up. And it was like, I'll see you. Hey, nice. Congratulations. I'll see you next season.
That was the end of it.
Yeah.
So David Stern essentially strong-armed you into taking that 50-game suspension, allegedly.
No. There was no. This is no. We're not gonna do this.
Okay, I'm deep.
You're gonna take that shit back. You're not air quoting. You're not air quoting. No. He Suge Knight me. He gave me the Suge Knight treatment, boy. It was safe.
We heard Melo tell a similar story. Like, look, I know who you move with. I know your whole crew. Keep fucking around and find out.
Okay, so to be honest, I'm gonna just be honest here. Like, did I believe him? Yeah. I mean, when I say I believed him, I seen his power. And his power was this. And I had to respect it because when he used his power in my favor, I was all for it. So it was this. It was my 2005-06 season. I made the. I'm averaging 29. We're in fourth spot. That's when Detroit Pistons. Maybe that's why I hate them fuckers over there. It was Detroit Pistons, and they were doing that reward winning, and then you had players that they used 4 players for the All-Star. And somehow I got pushed out. But 2 players were in from bottom teams. You had Paul Pierce and Bosch made the All-Star, and they were bottom feeding teams. And I'm 3rd or 4th in scoring it, and I'm not in. So Jason Kidd, so Jermaine O'Neal got hurt, and Jason Kidd. I have a jersey over there that basically, he signed it, and my big bro or little bro and everything. But Jason Kidd told David Stern, if he doesn't get picked, he's not playing for USA Basketball. So Jason Kidd tried to strong arm, and when Abe Poldin, may he rest in peace, heard about it, he cussed David Stern out, and he said, if you even try that with my player, we're going to war. And David said, don't worry. I know who the All-Star is. It's going to be your guy. You know what I mean? So, to say, USA Basketball, Jason Kidd, you're talking about Jason Kidd at the time, and he's like, all right, I don't worry about that. This is the real All-Star. Just to see that power play, so when it went against me, I was like, and, I just went on about my business. So I don't think I got screwed out of anything with the 50 games because I was acting out. And that's why I say I know what Ja's going through, because I had the same behavior. I was calling out Al Sharpton, fuck you, and you coon. I was doing all that. You know what I mean? Like, if I wasn't suspended, I was going to be a terrorist on social media because everybody who came meet me, I was coming back. But, Javaris didn't do any of that. He was quiet. He didn't say anything. So he got 50 games under the same detrimental mental evaluation as me, and he didn't really do anything when it came to what I got suspended for. So I feel that he actually got screwed over in that whole process. But, so all the 50 games that everybody's throwing around, and definitely it's a false narrative that was created back then. So we can clear that up. You cannot suspend them for 50 games because the rules, NBA property, it's only been 2 and 3 games max, and this is his first offense. If it went on the NBA plane, if not, then NBA needs to fuck off because this is not their jurisdiction.